Hi everyone, this is Stephanie with Wild West Wildlife, and I thought we should talk about skunks today. So I was going to go ahead and go over some facts as well as answer any questions anyone has. So that's the plan for today. You know, I ran into a lady at the grocery store a few days ago, and she came up to me and she said, you know, I really miss you going live and doing educational videos because my kids and I learned so much, and it got me to thinking I should probably go back to at least doing it once a week. I'm not one of those people that likes to be on camera all the time because this is a team effort, and I always want to make sure that I am showing that it is a team effort. None of this would be possible without the amazing volunteers and people that we have that dedicate so much of their time to all the wildlife and care. So that's why I don't really like to be on screen too often. But I'm going to do it. So y'all feel free to ask me questions. I'll try to see them on here as they come on. And let's start talking about skunks. So this is a little striped skunk, which is the most common skunk that we have here in Texas and in most of North America. So this little baby's eyes are closed and the ears are sealed, as you can see. So he really can't hear except for the vibrations of what I'm saying. He's just comfortable here in my hands and starting to fall asleep after being fed. He is roughly about a week and a half old. He was the little one that was found last night in the middle of a gravel road, and they called us. So I went out to get him about 10 p.m. And normally there's not just going to be one skunk. The average litter size is 5 to 8 skunks. And so I took this endoscopy camera and went and looked under the storage buildings and such to see if there was any more babies that we hadn't seen. So they're going to keep an eye out. We could not find any extras, but average litter size is 5 to 8. I would say 5 is the most common. And we've got those overachiever mothers that will have up to 8. But I feel like as we get the litters that are bigger over the years, there's always several runts. We'll have issues with them. This year we had a couple in one group that ended up having prolapse rectums and had to have that fixed at the vet. You guys also saw that video that's kind of gone viral, which surprised me, of that little skunk when we were teaching them how to lap, and she was covered in formalin. I had to give her a bath, and people said I looked like I was choking her. She can't breathe. No, it's just whenever we are doing baths, we have to make sure that we're holding like right here at the top of the chest so that when we're running them under warm water, it's not going to go into their mouth and into their nose and, end up causing pneumonia or getting fluid, in those lungs. So, but again, this is a week and a half old striped baby skunk. This is a little boy. He's just precious. He can't hear or see anything right now. This will change at week 3. So at 3 weeks of age, those ears will start opening. His eyes will start to, to open up as well. They can also start to spray around 3 weeks of age. But let me tell you, it's not your stomping, spray in the face type spray. It's more of a dribble. So it just kind of dribbles out a little bit. And then juvenile skunks, when they're paired together with their siblings, just like my boys, they like to toot on each other. So they will do the same thing. And so sometimes in care, we'll get that spray smell as well when they're actively playing. Most animals play the way they also defend. So that's no different for baby skunks. And you probably see that if you have cats. Cats are the same way. The way they pounce is this, in the way that they attack or get down and kind of shake their little bottom, same thing. The way they play is often the way they defend. So we talked about litter size. Most babies are born around May, early June. Okay, you can see here already these little nails that are coming in. So the main diet for skunks is 70% insects. So a lot of farmers do not mind that they have skunks around unless, you know, they've got low hanging things like tomatoes and stuff, because they will eat it up, because they eat so many insects and pests that get on their crops. So skunks are fantastic for keeping those little pests at bay. So 70% of their diet is insects. Also, not uncommon to see mother skunks out this time of day in the daylight, because they have to keep up with that milk supply for these little nuggets. They're out there just like all of us that have had babies before. You're hungry all the time. And so they're the same way. They will go out during the day looking for food. And the only time that you really need to be concerned if it's coming near you, you see lameness in the legs. A lot of people, when they see skunks, they'll say, oh, looks like I got hit by a car. It's dragging its back end or its legs. That's a very common thing we do see with rabies and skunks. And in those situations, you know, you definitely want to contact animal control or contact us or your local rehab center, and we can help you find one. So seeing them during the day, looking for food and insects to keep up their calorie intake to feed babies is very, very common. So if you see a skunk out during the day this time of year, do not think it just has rabies. She's just trying to keep up with the milk production. Some people have skunks and they have dogs, and then there's a lot of spraying going on. I get it. You don't want your dogs to smell like skunk. I've been sprayed so many times over the last 30 years that my poor children have gone to school smelling like skunk because my car gets sprayed too. So it's not a pleasant smell, but it is the way that they are made, and it is probably the best superpower out there because everything is afraid of them. Everything wants to run the opposite direction when you see that tail go up. He's just sleeping away here. So precious. Okay, let's talk about rabies. So I would say we take in about 200 skunks a year, maybe just under, maybe like 180. We will see 1 or 2 cases of rabies come in. I'm not going to sit here and say skunks aren't notorious for being the ones that you hear about having rabies, them or bats. But with what we see, it's not as prevalent. And obviously some counties are worse than others. Again, don't go picking up a rabies vector with your bare hands. It's just not smart. So, but I don't want you guys to think that it's more common than it's not. It's actually not very common in skunks. It happens, but it's not as common as you think. And the rabies virus is transmittable when the rabies virus is active in the brain and in the spinal fluid. So they believe that skunks can carry rabies and it can stay dormant. So in that dormant stage, if you were to get bit or anything like that, it's not going to cause you to have rabies. However, if the animal is displaying rabies and it's active, so it's in the brain, it's in the spinal fluid, they're showing the lameness or the aggression, we've seen skunks attack, that is when it is transmittable to us. Again, just don't pick up any rabies vector animals. Call, just like they did last night. Even though he doesn't have teeth yet, just call us or call a rehab center near you or an animal control when you're dealing with rabies vectors. And those are going to be your foxes, your skunks, your raccoons, your coyotes, bats. Call the people that are vaccinated. We're all vaccinated, and we know what signs to look for because we've been dealing with this for many years. So just wanted to kind of cover that as far as the rabies goes. So when it's active in the animal is when it's transmittable. Also, let's see, are we allowed to have skunks? In Texas, it is illegal to have skunks as a pet. I think Oklahoma, it's not. So if you really, really want one, you might want to move to Oklahoma. But Texas is awesome. So it is illegal, so you'll have to check with your state, but there are some states where you can have them as pets. And I'm not going to lie, they probably make amazing pets. They are very, very sweet. They remind me a lot of kittens, just a little bit more chill. And yeah, but don't get caught having one of these. You'll get in big trouble. You'll get fined. If the animal is not able to be rehabilitated, it could possibly be put down. So it's just not worth doing that to the animal. And honestly, why wouldn't we want them to be free? I mean, unless there's a medical reason, why would we not want wildlife to be free and back out in the wild? That is their whole purpose. And that wild instinct is very, very strong in all of them. Okay, so I think we covered a lot of stuff on skunks. Does anybody else have any questions? What should someone do if they are bitten by an animal? Great question, Jimmy. And they suspect that it could have rabies. They need to contact animal control right away. Animal control will contact the health department and try to get a hold of that animal and get it sent off for testing or quarantine. It just depends on the city ordinance. So some cities will do quarantine, like especially if it's a dog or a cat situation, but usually with wildlife, they are going to be euthanized. And they're going to be sent off because, you know, we love these animals we care for, but at the end of the day, I want my entire team to go home to their families, and I want them to be safe. So we have to be smart and not put ourselves in situations where we can get bit, so we don't run the risk of an animal having to be put down that didn't need to be put down. Are there any other questions out there? So I'm going to try to do this every Friday. I'm going to try to pick a species and come on here and talk about it and answer questions. And if I don't know the answer to something, I will find out and let you know, because I'm not going to sit on here and pretend to know something I don't know. I am constantly learning. You know, I started doing this when I was 15. I'm not sure it was legal then, but I was working with a veterinarian that did it, and that was bobcats and opossums. And even after all these years, I still continue to learn constantly. And it's amazing. So this little stinker is on a skunk formula. So we do actually buy skunk formula from Fox Valley. They have species-specific formula, and we use that to feed them. I feed him about every 2 to 3 hours and once during the night. In about a week, it won't have to be during the night, but he needs to go at least another week where we're feeding him during the night. Those incubators that you guys donate on our Amazon wish list, I know they're pricey, but they save lives, and that's what we like to keep them in because it keeps the temperature constant. The main reason why for a lot of rehabbers, and even in my early days, if I lost a baby, it was due to not being able to keep constant temperature. So these new incubators that have come out have saved just so many lives. If you've got a rehab center near you that needs an incubator, or they have it on a wish list, I highly recommend sending them because it will save hundreds of lives. Oh, one other thing I was going to bring up too that Jessica reminded me. So we have these tumblers out and we had to order more. So we have our new stainless steel tumblers out, and they are the same size. I believe it's 20 ounces. And they are the Arctic ones. So we do have those back in stock. We had a few people asking us about those. They run $30, and I think shipping is kind of pricey. I'm not going to lie. I think it's $10 or $11, but if you get 2 of them, we can send them in the flat rate box, and it's only $16. So if that's something that you're wanting for your coffee, your water, anything like that, and you want to support us, just send us a private message, and we will get it sent to you with an invoice and all that good stuff. So, hey, little fly, you better get off my baby. All right, so... okay, well, striped skunks, that's what we talked about today. If there's another topic or a certain animal that you'd like me to go over next week, I can. If you just have random questions, let me know. But I will try to make sure I do a live every Friday and just stay more connected with everyone and kind of let you know what's going on here. And speaking of that, let's talk about that for a second. We have an education center being built. It is a $700,000 project. I learned how to write grants last year, and we've had some great donors, so we've raised everything but $198,000. So that's not going to stop the build. It's in full full steam ahead. But if you know of any great grants or funding opportunities out there, please let me know. We want to try to raise that last amount without taking out a loan so that we can be debt free. So we're hoping that'll be open by the end of this year or very beginning, like January of next year. But that will be for schools to come. We can teach the kiddos about the different animals in our area, and also for the general public to come and meet some of our educational ambassadors and learn about their wild neighbors and how to coexist peacefully. That's something that's very, very important to us, is education. And just want to give a shout out to our team who is nonstop from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturday and Sunday 10 to 6. Even on the holidays, we are answering calls and out there helping. And I just love their hearts, and I love the distance that they go for some of these animals. So just want to give out a shout to them and to all of you that support us, that follow us, and keep our doors open. So again, let me know if there's any specific topic or questions you have, and we'll go over that next Friday. And maybe we can do something fun like a raffle, like for everybody that makes a comment or tell me where you're from. We can write all those names and do a drawing and do something fun and give some merch away. That'd be kind of fun too. So, okay. All right. Well, y'all have a great Friday and a wonderful weekend. Bye.